Welcome to the Soulfire Podcast, where every day we talk about real life, real shit, real raw. On this show, you can expect us to dive deep into topics like marriage, parenting, money, business, feeling like you want to give up, fighting for yourself, just straight soul healing. This podcast is all about life. Hey there, it's Power Coach Alicia here, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing. We're talking about setting your soul on fire. I specialize in helping women put themselves first without feeling guilty, getting out of their own way, and finding themselves again. No fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit here, just love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life. Okay, so before we get into this episode, I'm going to let you know that I am going to be reading some things so that you can see what people do, how they operate, and how I respond to people like this, right? I want you to see the process. I want you to see how I operated, how I stuck up for myself, how I came from an assertive, direct, loving perspective. You know, this is the journey of the soul, and that's what this season is all about. People are gonna come and go in your life. Sometimes people who weren't good for you or that you decided that you don't want to be in your life anymore are gonna pop back up. And when they do that, you've got to decide how you're gonna handle that and what you're gonna do with it. And if you aren't strong and sound in your personal self, your personal power, your belief systems, your boundaries, your standards of what you will and won't accept, who you will and won't allow around you in your energy to take your time for you to give to, you can really be sucked back into the past situations with those people. And what happens is your mind also only wants to look at the good that happened with those people, even though you know that the bad is the reason why they're no longer in your life. It does this weird sort of thing that can end up causing you a lot more detriment if you didn't learn the lesson the first time. Now, the story with this person, the conversation, I'm reading it all. I'm going to omit some things so that way, if you know me, you can't draw direct lines. But if you were a very active part of my life, you'll be able to figure out who this person is, and I really don't give a fuck. Otherwise, I wouldn't put it on the podcast. But I'll do my best to, edit that stuff out to, protect the parties, even though they don't really deserve to be fucking protected. That's a whole other thing. So let's see. I have a friend of 24 years. I love her so fucking much. If you are my personal friend or a friend on Facebook on my personal profile, which I really only keep people who I went to high school with and that I actually am personal friends with on that profile. You might have seen that I went to California a couple of times. I went in June, at the end of June, and then came back on July 3rd. And then I went on July 27th and came back on August 6th. So I went to California a couple times to visit this friend. I fucking love her so much. Two peas in a pod. I love her. She's such a beautiful soul. Well, I'm in California and I see on Facebook that a friend that I had from junior high until 2014. So a very long fucking time. You're probably looking at about 19 years. I've known her about the same amount of time that I knew this other friend that I love that I went to see in California. I've known her for the same 24 years, but I stopped talking to her at about 19 years into this relationship. I know, it's not a friendship. I think if things are fucking one-sided, it's not a friendship. I thought it was a friendship, but the analyzing of it proved it to not be. I was scrolling Facebook while I'm in California and I see that this 19-year friendship had a GoFundMe on her profile talking about needing money, life this, life that, this happened, that happened. We really have our shit together. Can you please help us out? What I never saw was the Facebook message of this person sending me their GoFundMe to help them based on their story and what had happened. Now, mind you, I hadn't talked to them in 9 years, but I get this message to donate to them. Okay, this is starting to already set the tone of the type of fucking person that they are. All right. So that message comes to me on July 28th. And then on July 18th, I get another message that says, I've tried messaging you even after so-and-so passed away. When I needed you, I still had some, when I needed you, you know, I did have some original friends. I mean, blah, blah, blah found me and reached out, but now they're dead. I better myself regardless. I went to rehab. I've done college courses and got a degree. Sorry, I know you didn't ask me any of that. But my point was, I thought you would be a friend that would always be there. You were my family. You got me through my coma. Then you were just gone. By the way, this wasn't a coma. This person is a pathological liar. This wasn't a coma. It was a medically induced coma from ODing on methadone. Okay, so let's be clear. She was not in a fucking coma. But everything you will hear from her is worded in victimhood. And I grew through it. This happened to me, but I'm so much better now. I've known this person, like I said, for 24 years. I spent 19 active years in her life. I know what's true in every fucking thing that she says. Okay? And by the way, I was here for this coma, this so-called coma she went through. That's why I know that it was a drug over fucking dose and she was put in a medically induced coma. Okay. Remember that I said that. Then you were just gone. Like I'm not good enough or you're embarrassed to have a friend like me. So it's easier just to present like you never knew me. You were my best friend. I don't know what high school or even the after years would have been without you. So thank you for that. You and so-and-so both. I know I'm pretty pathetic to sit and let myself hurt about old friendships. I won't bother you again. I didn't mean any disrespect. You have a beautiful family. I'm so happy for you. Okay, let me just tell you I haven't heard from her in 9 years. Okay, so I get a GoFundMe, and then that's the next message I get about 2 weeks later. So let's be clear that there has been no fucking contact, no catching up, no connection, no friendship, and then I just get this fucking victimized message, which when I've read it to other people originally, some people were like, oh, I just hear that she appreciates you and she's so grateful for you and everything that you have done. When I read it, I read, oh, good. You know that I'm in California visiting someone else, and they're a friend of 24 years, and you're feeling jealous and hurt because I haven't given you the time of day. Okay, I got that. So here was my message that I sent a couple of weeks later. One thing I need you to understand is that I will always see where you're coming from and understand where you're coming from. Hear your heart. I will see you in what you've said. And I'm always going to give you that benefit of the doubt and do my best to come from a place of peace, love, and patience in my responses, because that's something that I've grown into. So I wrote, no, I didn't see or get it. All of your progress and success is awesome. I'm happy you were able to do all of that for yourself and create a life for yourself. I 100% agree with you. I have always been there for you every step of the way, giving you my time, taking care of you, and putting you back together. I'm going to pause right here and just say, when I write this, I have always been there for you every step of the way, giving you my time, taking care of you, and putting you back together. That is fucking literally, emotionally, physically, it's everything. This is a person who would get so sloppy drunk when we were in high school, so fucking bad, that she would give herself alcohol poisoning and puke everywhere, that I would have to strip her down naked and give her cold showers and fucking like tap her cheek to keep her awake and stop her from aspirating and fucking choking on her shit and dying. I've saved her from committing suicide more fucking times than I can count. I have always been the person, or I was always the person, who came to her rescue, kept her alive, kept her to fucking together. I was literally motherfucking there for this goddamn person. Okay? Okay. Unpush pin, back to my message back to her. Once I came home for so-and-so's funeral, and my time was spent at the hospital taking care of you, I realized that I was done. I had put in all the time I was going to with you and your demons and taking care of you, always giving of myself to you. I disowned my favorite brother because he was a drug addict, and doing that destroyed me. That is not something I allow around me and my kids. It doesn't matter who you are in the history that we have. There's been a lot of life I've been through as well that you weren't there for me on either. I don't hold that against you. It's never been something I really had in our friendship. At this stage in my life, I only have space for people who add value to mine at the emotional frequency that I'm on, as I do them. I've spent my whole life allowing broken people to deplete my time and energy, and I finally have gotten to a point that I have none of that around me anymore. I am grateful for the amazing times we've had, and I would have loved if we were there for each other in the full capacity of deep friendship. But our lives went down different paths, and that happens. I hope that you are happy and whole in your soul. I want that for you so much. Okay, you hear that? Do you hear that love? Do you hear that assertiveness? Do you hear me holding my ground on who I am and what I've done and how I've grown and where I'm at and who I will and won't accept in my life? Do you hear my boundaries, my standards, the lessons that I've learned and how I'm not going back on that? Okay. 2 weeks later, this is the message I get. Sorry, it took me off guard to read such an ignorant message from someone I have praised to everyone. Let me just stop for a second. I will go through this message and I'm going to tell you what are lies and what are truths. And I'm also going to tell you what's happening in this response because I need you to see it. If you have somebody in your life who acts like this, I want you to be able to see this and I want you to be able to pull it out and I want you to be able to clearly see it for what it is, opposed to allowing these types of messages or these types of conversations or things that people say to fucking hurt you and destroy you. The reason why this is a podcast episode is because there are so many people like this person destroying other people because they are hurting and they want everyone else to make them feel better. They want everyone else to give them positive words and reinforcement and phrases that make them feel good about themselves. One of my last podcast episodes was all about, what compassion means. And it was also about knowing your truth and not allowing what people say to you to be what makes you feel that that's true. That what people say to you is a confirmation of what you already know, right? So I know this person and I know what she needs. She started it a little bit in the first message, right? That guilt trip, that victimhood, that I need some sympathy. Where's my pity? She was starting to paint the picture of those things and was hoping that as she painted that picture, that I would actually come back with compassion. Instead of me coming back with compassion, I met her with that tough love, but also with understanding and seeing where she's coming from and what she's saying, but also holding to my standards and boundaries. When somebody wants pity and sympathy from you because they live in victimhood, their response from that will almost always be an attack. Okay? So now we continue. Sorry it took me off guard to read such an ignorant message from someone I've praised to everyone about how you basically saved my life. And Alicia, I was never broken, maybe cracked or dented, but I had good reason. You only know a quarter of. I don't only know a quarter of. Let's be clear, I was there for 19 years. Remember, I kept her alive. I put her together. I kept her upright. If she wasn't upright, I put her back together. I physically, literally, and emotionally carried this fucking person. So I don't only know a quarter of it. I don't know the last 9 years, but I do know the first, or not the last 9 years. I guess it would. I don't know. I do know the first however many fucking years it was. It was a very long time of bullshit. Let's be clear. I guess the first years were 14, 15 years of our life together, but I haven't really been there the last 9. Okay. But it's not a quarter of what I know. I still fucking hear about the bullshit that she does to other people through other people. And I don't even fucking talk to her because people see me as the person who has always been there with her. So they'll come and tell me things because I've always been her constant and the one that almost like this weird association. So I need to put that out there as well. All right, keep going. A quarter of. I don't know anyone an explanation, but I want to tell you. Okay. You think I was this big time junkie. Wow, I wasn't. Let's be clear. She 100% was. Okay? Needles and fucking foil, like a fucking crackhead or whatever. I don't know, meth. I don't know what you do on these things. I don't know what drugs it was. She's 100% a junkie. She's not a weed smoker, ecstasy, and fucking mushrooms. She's a 100% junkie. But for some reason, she is deflecting and diminishing and pretending like I'm the one that's crazy, right? Pretending like I'm lying on her, but I'm not. And maybe this is the definition of narcissism. I'm not sure what narcissistic people do. I don't really like to define things like that because I think we all have tendencies of different negative traits. But I think that this may be narcissism. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. I don't really care. Continuing. She's like, wow, I wasn't. I would have lost my son if that was the case. She did lose her son, let's be clear. But she will tell everybody that the grandparents took the son while she was getting her life together after her husband OD'd. No, the son was taken because of his safety. So therefore, maybe she gets her life together or doesn't get her life together, but doesn't fucking ruin this child's life in the meantime. Okay? Okay. So-and-so was prescribed methadone and a sleeping pill that he mixed. One slowed his heart rate, the other stopped it. I found him 8 hours later. That story has changed from the original. The original was that she found him pretty soon later. I think it was maybe an hour later, but now we're at 8 hours later from the original.
Hey, are you loving this? To get even more soul fire, soul healing products, and to download the free gifts that I have for you, go to soulfirepodcast.com. Again, that's soulfirepodcast.com.
It was terrible. I was already in shock and not in the right mind. And still, I didn't have one person stand by me that day. Let's be clear. I wasn't even in town the day that this other person died, who was a very fucking dear friend of mine that I loved very much as a human. Like, we were very, very, very close friends. I wasn't in town when this person died. I couldn't physically be there, but I was there as much as I could from afar. I lived in Florida at the time. Okay? Okay. Continuing. I planned his funeral. I got him dressed and did his hair. No, she didn't. I was here. When the funeral was being planned and he was getting dressed and his hair was being done, she was in a coma. In a medically induced coma from ODing in the hospital. She's pulling pieces of things to attempt to make me feel guilty and to pull the wool over my eyes. One thing that people don't know about me is that I remember and I recall events that are very important events, like almost to the exact detail. Okay, he died. I was coming in for the funeral, and maybe 3 months later, it was like an emergency flight to Utah. The day I came into town, there was an ambulance at her apartment, and she was being hauled away in this ambulance. It was 3 days-ish from the time that this dear friend had died. It wasn't time to get him dressed, to do his hair, and make his funeral arrangements. We knew when the funeral was, but digressing. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Yeah, it took a toll on me. So I took 4 methadone pills that whole day, and me not using them ever was enough for me to OD. Okay. Yeah, you could OD on 4 methadone pills, but I know this person. This person is the person who would huff. What's that fucking shit? Like Noxzema or whatever the stuff. Not Noxzema, but it like clears your nose. Vicks Vapor Rub. She would keep Vicks Vapor Rub in her purse and huff it. Here's one thing that I know about this person. You can only believe 30% of what she says. So she says she took 4 pills. She probably took 10 or 12 or a fuck load. Like, she took way more than what she says she did. All right? All right. Keep going. She writes, then I woke up out of the initial coma and you were there. Got out in a medical induced coma. No, there was no initial coma. It was 100% an OD. And then they put her in a medical induced coma to tape her off the fucking OD and all the fucking drugs in her system and bring her to. All right, we're going to keep going. After I woke up, that time was when you left. No, when I showed up, you were already fucking unconscious from the OD and in the ambulance. And when you woke up the first time, that's when I was there. There was no multiple wake-ups, but her story is distorted because she wants to make up something for herself to believe, because she doesn't want to tell the truth about how big of a mistake that she made and the choices that she made, right? So it's all a deflection and edited so that she can, pull the wool over my eyes and make me feel bad. But I wasn't fucking on drugs. I was clear-minded, and I know exactly what the fuck happened because I know how I spent the entire time I was in Utah, besides when I went to the funeral and went out drinking with my buddies, but that's okay. So here we go. And then I checked out because my mom was sick and she needed help, and she stayed with me. She didn't check out because of that. She checked out because she had to check out because she was fucking fine. And I had to leave to go back to the airport. So she had to have somebody come get her. It was a whole thing. But anyways. So because my mom was sick and needed help, she stayed with me and I couldn't handle it anymore. So I sent her home and 2 days later she passed away and I had to make the call to let her pass or go on life support. I chose to let her go. It should have not been put on me for that one. But then I got sick with cancer, achalasia, got down to 50 pounds, feeding tube and all. I was supposed to die. So there's a good chance that she got down to 50 pounds, but she got more than likely got down to 50 pounds because she has always been a bulimic. And when her mom died, it probably triggered that, right? But this person doesn't ever admit to the truths of the situation so she can grow through it. She will only say what she needs to say, again, to create an energy that will make you feel bad for her. If she says she had cancer, she believes she had cancer. She manifests in her and her belief system that she had cancer. But there is a 99% chance there was no proof. Well, I guess I should say 70% chance that there was no proof there was no cancer. Okay? Okay. I lived in my dad's driveway in in an RV with no heat or air whatsoever, no power. So sorry for you because you couldn't get your life together and get a job. Like, I don't know what the point is that. My dad told me he wished how I was dead almost daily. Then so-and-so passed as well, and no one found him for 4 days. It was bad. That's a lot of trauma to deal with, and that's not even the physical abuse and sexual abuse or mental abuse I endured as a childhood. All those things are true. She did endure all of that. But I overcame it all. I think that there is, it's relative to definition of what overcame means. But okay, so see, now she is giving herself power after she says all of this sob because she wants me to believe that she's way stronger than I think that she is or whatever. And I haven't even touched alcohol in 6 years. I don't know why I need to know that or why that matters. Then she says, there was always a part of you after a while that thought you were better than me. I'm not necessarily better. I'm just not a fucking drug addict that goes through life causing destruction in people's homes and lives and hurting people. So, I mean, I guess if the definition of that is being better than her than I am, I'm not necessarily better. I'm just fucking facing life and not numbing it away with something. It's a choice she's made. She's like, but you're not perfect. I've watched the drama and shit that you went through with all your marriages. So maybe you're just as dented and broke as me. Okay, first of all, they're not all these marriages. I had one, it lasted a year, got a divorce. And my second one, which I'm in, has lasted 18 years and I've known him for 26. She says she's watched the drama. There's been no drama to watch. I don't post it all over the place in the drama that it is. But as you can see, she said, I've watched the drama and shit that you went through. So that just goes to show that she was never fucking there. Of course, it broke me. Of course, it dented me. But I've never been broken. Because I don't stay there, right? So she's now doing her best to put me in her shoes so that she doesn't feel as bad about the choices she made compared to the choices that I made, right? She says, so maybe you should be ready to judge yourself harshly before you judge others. Trust me, nobody judges me worse than I judge myself. If you've had any conversations with me when I'm going through turmoil, you'll hear how I judge myself and how I do my growth. Digressing. I wrote to you because I missed you, and you wrote some hurtful stuff. I never wrote hurtful stuff. I just didn't write what she wanted to hear. She wanted to hear that I would be there for her. She wanted to hear that I would be her friend. She wanted me to send her money. She wanted me to spend time with her like I was this other person in California. She wanted me to value her as I was valuing another long friendship that had lasted almost the same amount of time. And when I didn't do that, and I wished her the best, and I basically said that I wouldn't be her friend, she was mad about it. It wasn't hurtful stuff. It just wasn't what she wanted. You heard it for yourself, so you can decide whether or not it was hurtful. Then she says, I forgive you. I don't need to be forgiven. I don't fucking feel bad. If you were hurt by what I said, it's because you wanted something from me that I wouldn't give you. I wasn't hurting you. It wasn't deliberate. And I didn't use any words or phrases to hurt you. If the truth hurt you, when I did it with soulful honesty, and I was very cautious about how I worded things, that's on fucking her. She says, I just don't think I ever really knew you. Okay, because I'm the one that lies and I'm the one that's different. She definitely knew me, but she doesn't like the fact that who I am is not someone she can manipulate and control with her sob stories. Sorry for that. Maybe our friendship meant more to me. Okay, let's do the condescending fucking bullshit. Even after you and blah, blah, blah did that, I still felt nothing but love and respect for you because you meant more than any guy. Stupid me. Sorry for bothering you again. I'm glad you found your piece of paradise and happiness, and I want nothing but the best for you. Okay, condescending victimhood again. Please know that it broke me a little when so-and-so and my mom died, but I'm sorry that you felt obligated to come help. I should have never put you in that position. Okay, all condescending. She was already OD'd. She didn't put me in the position to sit at the hospital with her, and she knows that. But she's saying that because she wants it to be a poke, right? She's saying that because she wants me to feel bad for her, right? And she's also saying that because she wants to get a rise out of me. I'm pissed reading this message originally. So she is going to get the truth of how I feel, and it is going to be unfiltered, and it is going to be brutal, and it is going to be honest, and it's going to hit her where it hurts, and then she's never going to be able to respond to me again. And so it's going to cause her more pain than she ever really realized, because she cannot pull the wool over my eyes, manipulate, and control me. She can't. Regardless of your negative thoughts on me and my life, I will always be here if you need someone. Right, because you have been. So this is a person who's never been my friend. This is a person who's never been here for me. This is a person who hasn't been through my struggles or my successes. When Daniel and I had our re-wedding on August 2nd of 2014, of course she was there for everything. There was limos. There was, I paid for everything. It was a night of spoiled. She stayed in the Grand America, which is a beautiful fucking, very high-end hotel in downtown Salt Lake City. Like I said, she rode in limos all night long. I paid for everything. I paid for dinner. I paid for the club. I paid for drinks. I paid for the dress for her to be part of the re-wedding. She got to be part of the entire experience, every fucking single thing we did. So why wouldn't she have been there for that? Of course she was there through all of that, but she wasn't there for any of the shit that I've gone through, whether my first husband or Daniel. Okay? Okay. So here's my response, and this should be a clue to who I always, this is who I am at my core. And this is how I've always responded first and foremost. So when she sent that first message, I could read through it all. So normally I would have responded this way the first time. But because I've grown, I have decided that I wanted to show up and operate differently in how I treat people and how I talk to people. So I met her with assertive, direct love and still keeping my standards and boundaries. But then she decided to attack me and lie and degrade and go through this cycle of narcissistic victimhood. So then she got the actual way I respond to things when people are trying to manipulate me. So it says, oh my God, grow the fuck up, would you? You've been a victim as long as I've known you. I'm not better. I just have standards and boundaries. I don't give a shit about your sob stories. You were never a friend to me. I was always there for you. All of my marriages, I had 2, and one has lasted 18 years. You weren't there for any of my hardships or anything I've gone through. But okay, cry me a fucking river about your hard-ass life. You've always been a victim and caused destruction wherever you've gone. I hear about shit you've done even though you're not a part of my life. That should tell you something. And to say that you know nothing about me and my journey is the understatement of the century. I'm not better than anyone. Doesn't mean I have to let you be a part of my life. Look at how ugly you got and started attacking me because I don't want you in my life. And so, I'm not judging you. I could give a fuck less about your life. I haven't cared. I learned a long time ago that you are about you. That's who you are. I accepted it until I was done. So accept that I'm done with you, and I've been done with you since the day I left the hospital. Sending me a message attacking me isn't going to hurt me. You're the one that's hurting because I didn't welcome you back into my life with open arms. I would never do that. I know what that entails from me. Your response is exactly why. I would never have you back in my life no matter how much you praise me or tell people how amazing I am. And I am amazing, but not because you say it or because I think I'm better than you. Because I've done the work it takes for me to be here and I continue to do it almost every day. It's no surprise I received a message from you after you sent your fucking GoFundMe for money. 100% classic you. Be who you are. Love the life you live. I don't give a fuck. Leave me the fuck out of it. I want nothing to do with it. I haven't reached out to you for a reason. And you just proved that reason. You are not someone I want in my life. Good riddance. And then I blocked her. So some would say, why give this person your power? Why give this person your attention? Why respond to any of this when you know you don't want them to be part of your life? Okay? Well, the first time I responded, I wanted to respond because she sent me a message telling me that she missed me in so many words, right? And telling me that she's gone through some things and she wished that I was there for them. So out of respect and of who I am, there was a response to that. To me, that was going to be the end of it. Should have blocked her then. But then when she wrote the next message, most people would have just said, this person isn't worth my time or attention, so I'm not going to write anything. Well, no, I am. Because everywhere she goes in her life, people are so compassionate and they feel so bad for her. She can pull the wool over their eyes. She can manipulate them. She can control them. And then the more that she does it, the more that, the consistent she stays, it wears them down. And finally, they feel bad enough for her to give in and give her what she wants. So in my position, I was going to make sure that she knew that I see her. I understand exactly what she's saying. I know what the fuck she's doing, and I hear every goddamn word she said. And this is exactly why she doesn't get to be part of my life. Not because I think I'm better, but because she is who the fuck she is. What she does with that, I don't give a fuck. But I wanted to make sure that I set the record straight through and through. Now I set the record straight. She got to set her fucking record straight. Is it straight? No, it's fucking completely cockeyed and fucked up, but whatever. And then I set my record straight. We're done. I know how you view me, which is very fucking distorted and fucked up. I guess you're right. You actually never did know me. But I need you to be clear on how I view you and exactly why you're not in my life so that we never have to do this again. If you see me on the street, I hope you cross the fucking street. If you see me at a restaurant, I hope you look away. Because I want you to know exactly how I think about you and how much I value myself, my standards, my boundaries, and the people who are in my life and the people that I'm going to give that attention and energy to. People will go through life. You will go through life and keep people around because you feel like you owe them something, especially after they say shit like that. And the reason why I don't is because I know I don't owe them anything. It doesn't matter if I wasn't as good of a friend as I was to her and do all the things that I did for her or not. I know I don't owe her anything because I did what I thought was right, what I wanted to do, and I showed up the way that I did at the time that I did it. And I don't go through life regretting. I don't go through life taking things back, and I don't go through life allowing people to make me feel bad for my decisions. When I made those decisions, I own those decisions, and I would make those decisions again. If the people don't like those decisions and it's something that has really upset them or turned them off from me, then I expect them to have enough self-love and respect to fucking walk away from me if they truly believe I'm that shitty of a person and friend. Then do that, then own that, then walk. And when you do that, I'm not going to feel sorry. And the reason why I'm not going to feel sorry, and the reason why I'm not going to feel bad, and the reason why I'm not going to beat myself up over it, and the reason why I'm not going to destroy myself over it, is because I know my truth. I know my fucking truth. And if my truth is that you are right, and I completely fucked up, and I fucked you over, and I wasn't a good friend, and I did those things, I will eat crow and I will make it right. I will. But you're going to be hard pressed to prove that because of the type of person I am, how I show up, and what I give to the people I love. Because I know who the fuck I am. So my entire point in sharing that with you is there's probably multiple people in your life, or at least one, that when I read that, you went, holy fuck, I think I know this person. This reminds me of my duh, or this person, or that person. And you have that attitude and you have that energy and you're thinking about that because there are way more people like this in the world than the people who are strong enough to recognize it and put these people in their place, plus block them and bow the fuck out of their life. So I share this with you today to say, have enough love, self-love, self-respect, self-confidence. Know your worth, what you fucking stand for, what you stand against, what your standards are and what your boundaries are. Know it enough to walk away from anyone or anything that wants to treat you this way and give you these guilt trips and put you down and put you through this cycle of fucking destruction because of the way that they feel inside. One of my biggest lessons that I've learned in the last 4 months is that hurt people hurt people. and there is nothing you can do about it except for protect yourself. You can protect yourself and keep them in your life, or you can protect yourself and get them out of your life. If you struggle to protect yourself keeping them in your life, then you might have to make different decisions to get them out of your life. But my whole intention for you is to see that no matter what anyone says or does, it is 100% up to you who you choose to be a part of your life, what you choose to accept around you, the abuse you choose to take, or the honor, the value, the love, the respect, the peace, the love, the patience, the understanding, the safe space of the people that you put around you to help you grow, to help you blossom, to bring out your lightness, to bring out your beauty, to bring out all the best things in you. If you keep people like her around in your life, it's the darkness of you, it's the death of you, it's the worst of you. So you need to ask yourself, how do you want to show up in the world? And how you want to show up in the world must depict who you put around you. So remember this sacred truth. Say yes to yourself, for within you lies infinite worth. Let your heart be your compass, guiding you on a path of self-discovery and liberation. Grant yourself the grace to stumble and rise, for it is in our imperfections that we find our strength. Embrace the dance of progress, where each step forward fuels the fire within you. And with massive power and deep soul conviction, let this be your anthem, your unwavering declaration. I choose me. I'm Power Coach Alicia, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soul Fire podcast. You being here means the world to me, and I'm grateful for the time that you've dedicated to be here. And by consistently showing up, I firmly believe that you will transform your life. I'm so grateful that you've subscribed and you continue to share with others, spreading my message far and wide, because together we can reach my mission of transforming the lives of 1 million souls on their healing journey. Now, to provide you even more support on your soul healing journey and address any questions you may have, I would like to invite you to join our soul healing community. Simply visit community.thesoulhealingzone.com. Again, that's community.thesoulhealingzone.com, where you can connect with like-minded women, share your top takeaways, discuss what resonated with your soul, and express your absolute favorite moments from this episode. I can't wait to read them. I'm so freaking excited to create more empowering episodes and continue supporting you. I am sending you so much love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life.